Hey book lovers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna and today I am going to show you a lot of books. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot, like a lot. So basically, what I'm doing today is showing you my TBR pile. So any of the books that are in this pile I obviously have not read yet. I've been meaning to for a while, and I mentioned in my Top 5 Wednesday 2017 goals video that one of my top 5 goals for this year was to read at least half of the books on my TBR pile. So my TBR pile is the pile of books that I have here in my house that I have not read yet. So these are including a couple of library books that I've had for a little bit too long, but just all of my options for this year. So I would like to read at least half of the books that I'm showing you today. So these are in no particular order. I'm not going to really describe any of them because I don't want this video to be like 15 minutes long. But yeah, so these are all of the books on my TBR pile. Get ready for a lot of them. So like I said, no particular order. First one is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Heard amazing things. Cannot wait to get to this one. Hopefully in February or March. We will see. Next we have North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Classic. I haven't read it. I watched the Netflix series with, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on his name. The guy who plays Thorin in The Hobbit, Richard Armitage. So I really wanted to read that after watching it because it was really good. Next we have Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. The only book in the Throne of Glass series that I haven't read yet. Really would like to get to it because the last book comes out this year. So next we have After You by Jojo Moyes. I mentioned this in a recent video. I would like to get to it soon. Obviously I want to get to all of these soon, so whatever. This year I would also like to reread The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I really enjoyed it in 2015, and then right after that I'm hoping to read The Invasion of the Tearling, which is the second book in the trilogy, and then hopefully once the paperback version of The Fate of the Tearling, which is number 3, comes out, I could just marathon this series, so I love those. Next we have The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend by Katarina Bivald. I've heard this is really cute, and plus the cover is adorable. Next we have Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. I really liked this cover and I got it for a bargain, so why not pick it up? Next we have, and I want to get to this so soon, it's been calling me forever, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, the first in the Mistborn trilogy. I cannot wait. I've heard nothing but amazing things from so many people, so it's calling my name, guys. They're all calling my name. Next we have a book that my husband just recently got me, but I'm kind of sad about it, and you'll see why. It's an advanced reader's copy of a book called The Christian World of the Hobbit. I have wanted to read this book for years, just years, and so he ordered it for me on Amazon as a surprise, just because present, and I was so grateful, but it came in the mail and they sold him an ARC of it, which you're not allowed to do, so I don't know. I mean, I'll still read it, and I'm really grateful that I have it, but I'm just kind of sad that it's the ARC, and if they kind of ripped him off, I don't know. I may ask for our money back and get the actual book. We'll see if I really want to bother with that. Next we have The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin, a book about books for book lovers. That's all I know about it. Next we have Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. Sorry, I'm reading it backwards on the screen. Snowflower and the Secret Fan. I've heard nothing about this book. It just sounded really cool, and it's short, so. Next we have The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. Then we have The American Heiress by Daisy Goodwin. And I've heard this is kind of like an American Downton Abbey. We'll see. Having withdrawals from Downton Abbey, so. The next book that we have is Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rivka Brunt. I love this cover. And again, I haven't heard anything about this, but I have seen it on Goodreads a couple times, and I got it from my library book sale for $1. Honestly, most of these books that I'm showing you today I've gotten for $1 at my library's book sale, so pretty great. Next up we have, this is actually my husband's book, This is the complete C.S. Lewis signature classic. So it's a bind up of, let me see, we've got Mere Christianity, The Screwtape Letters, The Abolition of Man, The Great Divorce, The Problem of Pain, Miracles, and A Grief Observed. So I have yet to read any of C.S. Lewis's non-fiction. I know The Screwtape Letters is fiction. I've read about half of that once before, and it was really good, but I just never got around to finishing it. So I would love to read all of these this year. We'll see if it happens. Next up, we have Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I've heard that this is kind of an essential YA fantasy, so if you're a YA fantasy fan, you need to read this. This was actually given to us by somebody a few years ago, just because she was getting rid of a bunch of her old books, and Danny thought it looked cool, so we picked it up, and it's just cool to have it. Next up, we have The Yearling by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. This is my grandmother's, or my Nana's, favorite book of all time, and I got it for her for Christmas 2 years ago because she didn't have her own copy, and I've heard it's really good. I know it is a classic, and I would love to read it just because she loves it, and I love her. So that was The Yearling. Next up, we have, this is a recent find, and this is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. Again, I got this for $1 at my library's book sale. Excited to read this one. Next up, we have a book that I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to read. I just picked it up because it was around Halloween time, and a lot of people were reading thrillers for Spookathon and others like spooky readathons. So I picked it up again for $1. Why not? And that is Ink and Bone by Lisa Unger. I don't know if I'll actually get to this because I'm really not a frequent thriller reader. So if you've read this, let me know your thoughts because I'm not sure if I'm actually going to get to it. I may unhaul it pretty soon because I just currently have no desire to read this, but it's been staring at me for a while, so I may get rid of it. Let me know if you think I should keep it. Next up, a book that's sort of in that same category is Truly Madly Guilty. I know this is like a contemporary mystery surrounding these families. Again, I picked it up because it was $1 and a recent release and popular, so I don't know if I'm actually going to get to it. Let me know if you think that I should, or if you want to hear my thoughts on it eventually. Next up, we have The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. Again, same situation. It was $1 and popular, so I picked it up. I do plan on reading this one though. I'm just not sure when. Next up, we have Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. This is a Christian nonfiction book. I've heard that it's a really unique concept in that it's thoughts on Christianity from a non-religious perspective. So I've heard it's really great, and my husband recommends it, so I'm gonna get to that hopefully soon. I have yet to read any nonfiction for months, so we'll see how that goes. Next up, we have Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. I found this really pretty edition at Half Price Books when I was in Kentucky for Thanksgiving. I just really like the spine, and I've heard it's great. Next up, I again got this from my library sale for $1. It's a little bit beat up, but I don't really mind, and that is The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I've heard great things about this from Lorna from Suddenly Lorna. She made it sound super creepy and intriguing, so I picked that up. The next couple books are books that I featured in my December book haul, and this is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. We have Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall. I'm in love with this cover. I'm not sure how much you can see because it's really bright, but I'm really excited about that one. And next we have a book that I'm really excited to get to, and I think it's just gonna be really soon, and that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I've heard amazing things about this from a lot of people recently, so I'm hoping to get to that one soon. I just got this one the other day, The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I read The Bone Setter's Daughter by Amy Tan in college, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to get to this one. Next, I have In the Woods by Tana French. Again, I picked this one up around Halloween. A lot of people I saw on BookTube were reading it, and I had plans to get to it in the fall, and I just didn't. And I'm kind of losing interest in thrillers right now, so let me know if you think I should keep this and read it. Next, we have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I Got this a couple weeks ago. I'm really excited to read this. Lauren from Lauren in the Books absolutely raves about this one. It's her favorite book of all time now, apparently, and she just read it last year. So I'm excited to get to Rebecca. Next, we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Got this with some Christmas money. Excited to read that one. I have yet to read any of her books, and I have 2 now, or 3, excuse me. The next book we have is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Again, picked this up from the library for $1. I've just seen it around booktube so frequently that I figured I just needed to get it. Next, we're nearing the end, guys. The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. Really cool adult fantasy novel. I've heard great things from Reagan at Peruse Project from that series. Next, we have Juliet by Anne Fortier, I'm not sure. This is supposed to be like I don't think it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I have yet to really see. I've started reading it a few years ago. I got only a couple chapters into it, and I just kind of lost interest, but I'm still excited to actually get into it again. Plus the cover is really pretty. Next up, we have Dewey, the small town library cat who touched the world. And this is by Vicki Myron. And this is apparently a true story about a cat who lived in a library. Adorable, right? So I had to get that one. Next up, we have the book I have to say I'm the most ashamed that I have not read yet, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Just haven't gotten to it yet, but I will. It will happen this year. It will. It just will. Next up, we have another classic that I haven't read, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This edition is super heavy. Got it for $1 again from the library. Next, we have Inside of a Dog, What Dogs See, Smell, and Know by Alexandra Horowitz. It's supposed to be a nonfiction book exploring the minds of dogs and how they think and things like that. And I'm obsessed with dogs. I'm such a dog person, so I'm excited to get to that one. Next up, we have The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I just like this cover a lot, and it seems really intriguing. Next up, we have The Reader by Tracy Chee. I don't know too much about this book, but I did actually win this in a giveaway from one of Heather from Bookable's videos a few months ago, and I was so excited. I've never really won anything on BookTube at all, so I was really excited to win this from her, and it's a really nice hardcover copy. So the next book that we have is A Sudden Light by Garth Stein. Don't know too much about it, but I kept seeing it in Goodwill and Books A Million on their clearance shelf, so I figured why not pick it up, and it's a beautiful cover. And I read one of his books before and I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have a book that is going to be read very soon, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. You probably have heard about this. Super popular on BookTube, and I cannot wait to read it. Next up, we have The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. Again, excited to read that one. I picked that one up at a really cute used bookstore in St. Augustine, and I'm excited to read it. And then speaking of cute bookstores, look at this one. This is The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan. I would really like to read this in February. And then we have this beauty, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I do definitely want to read this year. Almost there, guys, almost there. Next, we have Chaos Beneath the Shade by Tracy Bickle. This is a Christian nonfiction book. It's very short, but I've heard really good things, and it's about, I believe, not letting bitterness take root in your soul. So I'm excited to read that one. And the last 3 books of mine that I own that I would like to get to are And I Darken by Kirsten White, and This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. And then this one is actually a book that I borrowed from Jessica, my friend who was in my last video that I recorded, and that is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. It's supposed to be an unofficial sequel mystery to Pride and Prejudice, so I'd like to get to that one. And then last but not least, congrats if you've made it this far, are 3 library books that I've had for a little while, and that is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I'm gonna read that obviously after Six of Crows. A World Without You by Beth Revis. Would love to get to this one. And then last but certainly not least is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. So those are the 3 audio library books I have out right now from my library. So congrats, you made it through every single book that I own that I have not read yet that I want to read this year. So like I said at the beginning, my goal is to read at least half of these. So I think I counted 54 when I was gathering them all up for this video. So if I could read, you know, at least like 25 of these, like that would be fantastic, just to reduce the number of books that I haven't read yet that I own. So my throat is kind of dry from talking. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. So thanks for sticking with me if you've watched up until this point. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content from me, please hit subscribe. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.